And welcome back, everybody. It's the I Don't Mow Show, episode 15. I'm Charlie P.
And I'm Nathan J.
And we're back here with you. 15 episodes. 15 episodes
15.
deep.
That's to you guys. Bravo.
That's for you guys, yeah.
Yeah, well, give yourself a pat on the back.
Give yourself a pat on the back. But, we got a little bit of a shorter episode today. We got
It's an express episode. If we do this, we're gonna do this every once in a while.
We got a few some good stuff, some mainly good stuff.
Yeah, we do have good stuff.
Not really any bad stuff.
We still got some world news this week.
Yeah, we're gonna start out here with world news. So scientists have been studying Europa, which is a satellite of Jupiter, one of Jupiter's many moons.
Right.
And it's the only icy satellite in our solar system that could support life. So just recently, the Galileo, I believe it was the Galileo satellite that we sent up, was studying it, and it's turns out to be the most habitable planet or satellite, whatever you want to call it, in our solar system, and it's got ice all across its surface, which you'd assume that there's a sub-ocean, in there, sub-ice ocean, if you will,
right.
And all data that they're coming to now is pointing to the fact that it might be salty. So it could be just table salt, just like our ocean.
Right.
So something could be lurking in the deep on Europa.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, they've been studying it, and the only way that salts can, come into an ocean would be if the ocean is coming into contact with rock, or if there's hydrothermal vents deep in its depths.
Right. Okay.
And on our planet, the hydrothermal vents support a lot of life. There's a lot of microbial life that lives there and thrives there.
Correct.
So all signs are pointing to there could be extraterrestrial microbial life. Could be a multicellular organism down in there, though. Lurk in the deeps. Yeah, so that's really good news for the alien community, I guess.
Right. I mean, what you got to do, you have to pull an Armageddon type of situation. You have
something
to get
that.
A deep core driller
to
actually find out that kind of thing.
Yeah, send it up there, because right now all we have is just satellites orbiting Jupiter.
We're probably a ways away from doing that. So we're just now probably getting people on Mars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just now starting to talk about Mars and starting to talk about going back to the moon in 2020, which probably isn't going to happen because there were recent budget cuts, I guess, and there's a whole money issue and all kinds of stuff with NASA. So who knows if that launch is going to happen next year? Most likely not. It probably won't happen for another 10 years.
I have a little world news when it comes to planets, since you're speaking of Mars.
What do you got?
I did read and hear about the Mars situation with them living there with, the group I'm sure everyone's heard by now, sending some people to colonize Mars. They said if they would have launched I don't know if it was last year or the year before, when they had the plan and they scrapped it, they said if they would have done that, they would be dead already.
Oh, wow.
Because of what's going on there,
right?
I guess, and where they were going to go. I guess that's why they stopped.
Oh, wow.
They didn't really get into those details, but they're saying basically, if they were there right now, they would
just like sandstorms and all kinds of stuff that blew through there.
Yep, that kind of stuff. They said they would all be dead.
They got lucky.
Yep,
got lucky.
So I mean, hey. If everyone's impatient about it, which I don't know why you would be impatient about that, regardless, those people that will be going there are going to their deaths,
right?
But they're doing it for mankind. That's technically why they're doing it.
It's a one-way trip, but who knows? Maybe we'll be sending people to Europa next. Maybe we'll send a manned mission around Europa.
I mean, I hope. I believe that kind of thing is going to happen.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy to think that, on a tiny little moon that's orbiting a gas giant, might have giants lurking in its depths. It's kind of crazy.
And they're discovering planets all the time, which is just weird.
All kinds of exoplanets.
How did you miss those planets? You guys just been staring at the planets we know?
They've been
just repeatedly. You've ignored the rest of space.
Studying the wrong algorithms, I guess. And actually, speaking of exoplanets, you can now have a chance to name your own exoplanet because we've been finding so many.
Yep.
So. If you have the
stars
pocket,
and stuff,
thick pocketbook, and you want to name an exoplanet and contribute to space travel,
which I hope that money, when you go and you're naming yourself, goes to NASA. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Your stuff will go because NASA's a private. I think it's a private company now. I don't think it's a government entity anymore.
Right.
So any money you give to them just goes into NASA.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I see that taking off. I've seen a lot of people buying stars and planets and stuff for people. So
naming planets after themselves and all kinds of stuff.
I mean, I could get at hand, but that's cool.
But yeah, that's all we got for world news right now. Just a little alien talk, and yeah, we'll move on into video games now. We got
Always good to talk about games. Thank God we're on the games.
we just beat Super Castlevania for the NES.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was epic. It was an
Old
epic
school.
battle.
It was an epic, giant, long, hard battle that frustrated and we enjoyed very much.
We blew through it pretty quickly, all the way up until we got to the final 3 bosses, I think
much.
it was. Yeah, and then that's when it started getting
and those
really
bosses weren't
tough.
even difficult. It was the leading up to it, and then you finally get to the end when you're, fighting certain bosses, and you get to Dracula.
Yep.
And I'll just say it right now. Dracula's a dick.
Yeah, Dracula's a pain in the ass. I'm sorry to tell you.
I mean, even if you find out what you're supposed to do and you learn the pattern and all that, it doesn't matter.
Hard. Yeah.
It's still hard.
It's still harder than nails.
But it's really been great, especially with the classics and everything out now, to be able to play the games that you're probably not going to find or they're too expensive and you've never played before, never got a chance because when we were younger, you had a couple games and from the video store every once in a while,
right,
or something. But you never really got around to playing certain games, or you heard it was bad, or you heard his friend was too hard, or whatever. It's just cool to finally
now you've got a chance to sit down and play all those games that you wanted to play, or beat all those games that you started playing when you were a kid that you want to continue now. But
exactly.
Yeah, these classic consoles are really, really nice.
And as much crap as people get, I don't understand that, to be honest with you. And I guess it's those, loyalists. You just buy the system and get all the cartridges. And I'm like, man, some of the cartridges for these games are like $60. That's what are Xbox game prices today.
It's I don't think so. If I can pay $75 for a console and have the games come on there and have the ability to add more games if I wanted to, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Exactly.
Which leads me to our PlayStation Classic, which we just started playing. You just got it in, last Wednesday?
Yeah, last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday we started playing it, and it was fun, but it wasn't the greatest thing until...
Which we had heard.
Yeah, until we added, more games. And once you add more games and you got all those better classic games, I should say, it's
variety.
great. It's amazing, yeah.
Because, especially with the classic with PlayStation 1 and those games, good luck finding ones good luck finding them, and then good luck finding ones that'll play.
Right, that aren't all scratched to hell and
that's the
just
thing, and I don't know what they were
and...
thinking with the black and blue type disc and all that layered.
Yeah.
When I worked at the game store, and it was just seeing some of those, and sometimes repairing them made it worse. So just gone, and then some people be like, "Oh, I'll still take it," and I'm like, "All right, good luck, but you can't." We're letting you know.
It's not going to work. You can't play it.
But okay.
But yeah, the PlayStation Classic, it's a hit once you add more games to it.
Yes.
It's a hit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like some games I never even thought of playing. Like we played Space Jam, and it's one of the coolest basketball games I've ever played. It was just, it was unique. It wasn't like, oh my God, yes, it's the greatest game ever. But it was like, all right.
It was different than the NBA 2Ks and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was like playing NBA Jam with Looney Tunes, but better.
But way better.
Instead of being on fire, Tasmanian Devil slam dunks and eats the ball.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Bugs Bunny gets on top of the backboard and just waiting, eating a carrot. Blam, score, 2 points.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that about it are pretty cool. We have so many to get to now, which is good. We're pretty stocked up on games right now. But we start yesterday? Wolfenstein?
Yeah, we started Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus.
Right.
That's for the Xbox One. Now,
I know jack about Wolfenstein. I just know it's Nazis and...
I know it's like almost a Doom clone, but with Nazis. Yeah. Basically.
Right.
But it's
been really
it's
good.
really
it's
fun.
Very smooth, great graphics.
Very smooth. Graphics are pretty. All the guns fire. Oh, it feels so good.
Right.
Whenever you're firing
some
those
people
guns.
Again are like, Wolfenstein 2 didn't it come out? Yeah, it came out a while ago.
Came out a while ago.
Again, there hasn't been much that's really come out that I'm willing to pay $60+ for.
Right, and I didn't even pay $60 for that. I paid, I think, $20, right. $25 at GameStop.
And I'd never played Wolfenstein. I literally, when I don't think I remember learning of Wolfenstein, I literally thought it was about wolves.
Nice.
They were, instead of Frankensteins, they were like Wolfensteins, so
okay, I see.
they're like robot wolves and creatures and stuff, and I'm like, you know what, I don't know, seems kind of weird, whatever.
Yeah.
And now getting around to it, and it's like,
And the game, because we're playing the second one, it fills you in on
fills you in a
what
little bit.
happens with the first game and all that stuff and why
I'm kind
you're
of aware
in
of what's going on.
right a
Lady
little
Hitler.
bit. It's just it's just basically Nazis if they got to the verge of almost taking over the world,
Right.
which I guess they did, but not really.
Right.
Not with
If they
old,
would've
not with old
expanded
America
their-
sitting around,
Yeah,
baby.
exactly. America. I mean, they, if like all their experiments would have gone more
Right, and their technological
successful.
advances were way more
right with their big
advanced,
armor suits and their
Yeah.
weapons and their science and alchemy and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, if all their mumbo jumbo stuff worked, then yeah, this is the Wolfenstein,
let's forget the technical mumbo jumbo.
right?
But so far it's been really good. That's up to date. We're going to be playing a lot more games and of course giving you some reviews on games.
Oh,
but
yeah.
really, it's just pick up the old school game. Get one of those classics. Seriously, getting back to the roots is. I forget I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about when it comes to video games. You got to start to think that. We're getting to the point now where it's already happening with like Atari games, Commodore games. Those games
Right.
are rusting away.
Yeah,
Like they're just deteriorating out of thin air. And they're gonna
literally the
continue to do it.
material that's holding them together is falling apart.
and it's going to start with the rest of them. Now I don't know all the details of how long it will be with the other ones, but one day,
There
when it
won't
comes
be
to
any more
cartridges,
Atari
you won't be
games.
able to play them anymore. So I mean, emulators and backing them up and getting games on files and these classics are.
It's pivotal.
It's pivotal, but it seriously makes you wonder what their companies like Nintendo and Sony are thinking when they release these, because it's like if you just put out a system that's got a package of games, let it be connectable to the internet, because apparently you love the internet, which
Yeah.
we all know, because you
Yep.
have to be online for almost everything these days.
Anything and everything.
Why do you not have list of games for me to purchase? Like we're talking $1
Right.
games, $2 games, 3, 5, 10, whatever.
Like
People will pay.
a whole Wii store kind of deal.
Yeah, you're
basically.
telling me you can't upload all those games and give them to people,
They can,
but they're just focused on we're trying to grow here,
They're focused on
we're
the
trying to
future
grow.
more than they
and
are
they
the
throw
past.
these classics
and I guess,
at us to be like, here you go.
Yeah,
retro
we're
people.
listening to you.
Yeah,
Here's a
yeah.
bunch of crappy games though that come with it. So, but yeah, like I said, once you add more games, it's great fun. It's really really good fun being able to go back and look through all. Like we were playing that Spider-Man game
Right.
the other night.
Right.
I remember renting that from Andy's Movie Rental
Yes.
way back in the day
Right.
for the N64 and playing the crap out of that.
Right.
Like it just brought me back to my
Which-
childhood.
Did you hear the awesome news about 64?
I didn't. What?
That there is a HDMI
There's an
64
HDMI
coming
64?
out by
What?
Hyperkin.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
I didn't
so
know
we'll be able
that.
to play. They're like, I think the quote was like, and I'm paraphrasing here, was like, yeah, all those times you hook your 64 up and you turned it off because it looked like crap. It's like those days are over.
because you mixed up the audio
Yeah.
and video or
Yeah,
whatever.
'cause it's just it doesn't look good on that flat screen TV. You're
Yeah.
like, give me a crappy TV so that I can play this game,
Right.
so it looked normal. But yeah, because they
Oh,
pretty
wow.
much shot down the 64 Classic as of now.
I can
Which-
see that because
which-
it's still fairly. I mean,
mean-
not. It's about as recent as the PlayStation,
Right.
But I can see where
It's
they
one
can,
of those things too. I think is just the limited amount of games. There's not very many popular.
Right.
Honestly, there really isn't a lot of popular 64 games.
not at all.
And they only made it's like less than 300.
But there's a lot of
Right around.
gems in there. There's a
But
lot
the-
of
right. There's
a lot of
plenty of good
stuff.
ones, but I think they're just when it comes to that, you got it. They're weighing out, and even I'm kind of like, yeah, I understand. So,
Oh, yeah.
them getting the permission to do an HDMI, a high
That's
definition,
awesome. Yeah.
that's great. That's fine. That's a good step. So now I can play all my games in HD. I don't really have to worry about it.
Right.
And you could still get most of the 64 games today for pretty reasonable prices.
Oh yeah, most of
except
them.
for some of the popular ones like
except for like
Conker's Bad
Super
Fur
Mario
Day.
64
Yeah,
or
and
something
things of
like that.
nature.
Yeah.
So those are still $40 and $30 and $60 range, but not too many of them are any more than that.
Right.
But,
But yeah,
I mean, it's
That's exciting.
It makes sense about the classic, but I mean, maybe one day. you know,
maybe one day, another 10 years or so, I'd give it.
Right.
Maybe one day.
that'd be fine.
But yeah, that's about all we got for games. We're gonna go ahead and move straight on into movies.
Oh yeah, we got some pretty decent movie stuff today.
We just
saw a
recently-
really good movie.
Yeah, we just recently watched a really, really good movie on Netflix.
Oh my God, Netflix for real?
Yeah, dead
Yeah.
serious on Netflix. One of us kept an account,
Yep.
thankfully.
Netflix original movie.
Yeah, it's called Polar, and it's starring Mads Mikkelsen and Vanessa Hudgens.
Yes.
And it's basically, what did we come to? It's basically a John Wick, but grittier.
Yes.
Like a lot more grittier
And
than
then
John
you
Wick.
informed me it was a comic, which
It was
by
a
Dark Horse.
It was a graphic novel by Dark Horse, who also does like Hellboy. Let's see here. Who else do they do? Licensed stuff like Aliens and Buffy and Conan, and Star Wars, and they also do original stuff like Sin City.
Yes,
stuff like that.
Which they didn't market that very well, because I think if they did, more people would probably watch this.
Sin City or Polar?
Polar. It doesn't get very good ratings. I mean,
No,
Google's
it doesn't.
rating it good, of course, because real people understand.
Right.
But everywhere else, it's getting...
But I thought Mads Mikkelsen did an amazing job in that role.
Job.
He always does a great job. Don't get me wrong, but this one he did fantastic. It was definitely a 4 out of 5 for me.
Oh yeah,
definitely a 4 out of 5.
It was. I put 4.25.
Okay.
Because like I was hanging on the balance of 4 and 4.5, and the reasons like I even dropped them like once you told me it was based on a comic, I was like
yeah,
makes sense, a lot more sense.
Oh yeah.
And like the negatives are not even really anything negative about this film.
It's just it's very graphic but very entertaining. Very entertaining.
Got a little Cinemax action.
Yeah, there's some Skinamax action in there, but that's comes with the territory. What do you expect? It's
got Johnny Knoxville,
this badass, hitman guy. Of course, he's gonna get his rocks off at some point. You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, he does.
And he
gets
does.
called out for being an old man. I'll just point out that's all I'm gonna say. He's like, I'll show you, he's an old man.
And Vanessa Hudgens, she does a good job.
She's
Don't
trying
get
to
me
win
wrong.
an Academy Award.
Yeah,
Let's just say it, okay?
She's very hammy in a lot of scenes. She's hamming it up. Like it's
like
noticeable.
almost like they didn't give her the script.
Yes, they didn't give her the script.
They just gave her lines.
They're not giving her direction at all. They didn't tell her to back it down at all or anything like that. She just
it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
It was just like.
But for the movie and for the tone of the movie,
yeah,
she kind of hammed it up quite a bit. It was like she was acting in a rom-com or something like that,
Yeah. But I mean, she does a good job of making you wonder. Is that, like, even you were like, is that Vanessa Hudgens?
Yeah, I was like, why does this chick look like Vanessa Hudgens, even though it's not Vanessa Hudgens? And you're like, it is Vanessa Hudgens.
Like I saw it in the thing before. Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, because she looks way different. She's a lot more gaunt. She's got a lot more hollow eyes. They made her look good for her character,
right?
Because I'm not going to ruin it. If you watch the movie, you'll find out why she looks like that,
right?
And all that good
stuff. There's a lot of reasons, a lot of twists and turns, and it's engaging action movie, just like John Wick was engaging.
The 2 hours went by like that.
And I mean, when you're coming out with original ideas, like John Wick, if you're gonna have somebody come up with something that's similar, this was the right way to do it.
Yeah,
especially because it came from a comic.
And they even do a nod to John Wick in the movie. It's kind of a dark and grotesque nod, but they do they do a nod to it in there. They admit that it's similar. So it's kind of funny.
They kind of go the more realistic way, in my opinion.
Yeah, more realistic. Yeah,
goofy. Especially
definitely
with
goofy.
With the enemies and stuff, but it just works. It works for the times to me. It just it really works.
That nod that I'm talking about is with his dog. Yeah. But you'll find that out if you watch the movie. You'll find that out.
You'll find out. But hey, very good movie. I mean, there's a lot of movies we want to get around to watching, but we've been going through and just be kind of like, all right, what's been talked about, what supposedly is good, and then we're gonna watch it, and if it's good, we're usually gonna give a review. We're probably not gonna give too many like, oh my God, this movie sucked reviews.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna poop all over somebody's life work or their project.
People can do that all they want. There's already enough of that on the internet.
That's just not what I do. I see their faults and I take it for what it is.
Yes. Precisely.
So anyway, moving on from Polar, which is great, 4 out of 5 Mo's. I gave it. You gave it 4.25. So if you are of age to watch those types of movies, go ahead, give it a shot. Yeah, give it a shot and check it out. Mads Mikkelsen, amazing. King Kong, some sad news. We got one bit of sad news. King Kong versus Godzilla is delayed now because you informed me yesterday of the Godzilla issues, the recent King of Monsters movie that came out. Didn't do so hot at the theaters, so now they're freaking out,
They're freaking out a little bit. Stupid backlash. Let's just say it. Stupid backlash of the reasonings why the movie's not good. Right. And when critics ruin things because they didn't like it.
Yeah, because it's a monster movie and critics always
there's too much monster fighting. Hello.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, dude, seriously. There's memes all over the internet about that.
That is why I'm here.
And of course there's, talk about the direction it was supposed to go, and then there's supposed to be the nod to King Kong or something, because there's the upcoming film, which is the reason we're talking about that, which is supposed to be Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yep.
which is why it is delayed, because this movie is not doing as good. So now they're kind of wondering if it's even worth going about, because let's be honest, Skull Island didn't do that good either, even though that movie's great.
Skull Island?
Yeah.
Yeah. That I thought it was a great movie.
I thought it was really
I bought
really
it on
good.
Google Play.
And like
I
all
loved
the
it.
guys, like the Angry Video Game Nerd, he's a giant, monster movie fan. And,
Oh, yeah, he loves
and
King Kong and Godzilla.
He loves them both, like more than anything, really.
Yeah.
And the way he basically he was talking about it is, it's just, they're worried about, is it worth it? Right. Especially with like Pacific Rim 2, that travesty.
Yeah, that did terrible,
Because
and
the first
it was
one was
terrible.
incredible.
Yeah, the first one, Guillermo del Toro did amazing with that. And then the second one comes out with John Boyega, and it's just kind of poopy, not good at all.
Yeah.
Like
So
literally,
it's like, you can help out Del Toro, but you can't.
it's
do
too
this
it's
movie.
too campy compared to its gritty counterpart.
Yeah.
It's
Big
first
time.
installment. It's
It's
way
like
too campy.
Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen or something.
Yeah, something dumb.
It was like
I
that,
don't Yeah. But moving on to a little bit older of a movie, I finally watched Stripes for the first time in my life last night.
Awesome! I'm very excited that you finally watched that
Now,
movie.
I liked it. It was funny. I giggled a little bit here and there, but like I guess you were informing me that the theatrical cut is 10 times better
It's
than
10
the
times
director
better.
cut.
It is.
And I watched the director cut.
It's rare, but it's one of those movies.
I only gave it a 3 out of 5 just because of all the, goofy stuff that they added back in for the director's cut,
Yep.
All the stuff that had nothing to do with the story and didn't further the story along at all or anything like that. They were literally just doing it for the sake of
I've
being,
been looking for it on VHS because
goofy.
I have a download and I have a DVD, and they're both director's cuts.
Right.
And I don't want to watch it because I don't like it.
I think on that DVD, because I borrowed it from you, on that DVD, I think you can choose between the director's cut or the theatrical cut right at the beginning.
If you can, definitely. That's definitely the route to go.
So maybe I need to rewatch it with the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
But right now, unofficial ranking 3 out of 5.
Right. Which isn't bad when it comes
funny.
to a movie that, I mean, it's cult classic, but it's borderline, but it is. It's definitely one of Bill Murray's least known.
Right.
Even from like Where the Buffalo Roam and that kind of stuff, which is the Hunter S. Thompson movie.
Right.
Which is basically Fear and Loathing. What they did before. It was technically a movie, and that's a really good movie. It's just very weird, and it's weird to see Bill Murray in that kind of role.
It was weird because he wasn't. I feel like he was restrained quite a bit. It felt that way throughout the whole movie. He wasn't able to be Bill Murray. He was having to be this guy.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's post Caddyshack.
Oh, is it?
And because of all the shenanigans and all the craziness that happened on the film of that,
right?
With toning it down and not being crazy, drugs, none of this.
Yeah,
it definitely seemed they went really serious.
Oh yeah,
for sure, because they were on an actual army base.
It was definitely a dramedy,
right,
if you will. It was definitely funny, but there was a lot more drama than there was comedy.
Right,
and
there's a lot of authentic stuff in that movie.
Oh yeah,
like the explosions and things of that nature and the firing. They actually did that in that film. So there's a lot of really cool. I was telling you before, my dad was stationed on that base.
Yeah,
when he was in the army. And it's differently named in the movie than it actually is. It's just the the base at Fort Knox, which protects the Fort Knox safe and all that kind of stuff. And it's Fort Arnold in the movie.
That's where my grandfather was stationed as well. He was stationed right outside of Fort Knox. Yep.
But Harold Ramis is such a genius. That's kind of what makes the movie.
Yeah, and I thought honestly, my favorite character was John Candy's character Ox. he was funny.
Dude,
I loved
the
him.
mud wrestling.
The mud wrestling was hilarious.
Bravo, company.
That was great.
Oh, and then the Winnebago man. It's so cool. That thing is
EM50.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's an urban assault vehicle. yes, a tank or something. Yeah.
Yes,
John Lithgow. He's hilarious in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me, not John Lithgow. I'm sorry. It's oh goodness.
Oh, Sergeant
John
Holka?
Larroquette.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Sergeant Holka?
Yeah. No. John Larroquette, the guy that was the pervert, the peeping Tom guy.
Oh, the Colonel.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's he was the bad guy in Richie Rich.
Yeah. He was funny. He made me hate him, in that
exactly.
movie. He made me hate him. So.
Right. But that's cool that you went back and you watched the movie. I think I recommended that to you a while back, and you got to pick a movie for me that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
that you recommend, so we can get over that. And speaking of like recommended and opinions, you have from last week we had a question.
We have got, well, first, do you want to do our Friday picks first? Let's do our Friday picks first.
Friday pick. Oh,
Friday
yeah.
picks.
Friday picks, bring it on.
This Friday, tomorrow.
Yes.
Toy Story 4 is coming out. That is my Friday pick.
It's
and
got
I
100%
believe
Rotten Tomatoes. No big deal.
I believe it's yours as well, correct?
Correct.
Both of us? Toy Story 4. So if you got kids or if you're just a big, Pixar fan like I am, I don't have kids, but I really like Pixar.
Or whatever it is. It's
Whatever
so
it is. But yeah, Toy Story 4, check it out. It's not set with any kid in general. It looks like it's like more of a road trip movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And they lose Forky, and they got to go find Forky for the little girl.
Indeed. There's a lot of trickery in the trailers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad they brought Bo Peep back though.
Yes.
I'm glad they brought her back. She looks like a BA in that movie.
Which they also changed this entire script.
Oh, really?
It was supposed to be originally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Apparently, it was supposed to be all about Bo Peep originally and Woody, and that was like the it. And they were like,
Yeah, let's bring in everybody.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Toy Story without Buzz Lightyear and Rex and
now, if you want to make like offshoot movies with the characters doing their own little personal side things, I'm all about it. More Toy Story, the better. Yeah. My children, everybody I know, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
I definitely want to go see it soon because this is a movie that people are going to drop spoilers for pure emotion. I can see it now.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely one of those movies I want to get it quick and see it like Avengers and those kind of movies. I'm just.
Right.
And I want to be on the internet because I don't want to be on the internet when there's spoilers going on, man.
Oh, yep. And that's another thing. Avengers Endgame's coming back to the theaters with like extra content, but you're not going to take another of my $10 to go see that. I've already seen it twice.
You're not doing it.
I'm going to wait till it comes out on
If
Blu-ray.
you release the Blu-ray and it's added and I can watch that version, cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Yeah.
Cool.
So, let's see here. What else we got? We got Stripes. We had Godzilla.
Oh, I do have that. The Joker movie is confirmed to be R-rated.
Okay, yeah.
That's coming out.
New Joker, Joaquin Phoenix movie that's coming out is rated R.
Yes.
But yeah, your question was from last week. It was what was our favorite antagonist?
Yes.
And your question, that was my question from last week.
Right.
And your question for this week was who is our favorite protagonist?
Yes.
Or good guy, if you will.
Last week was the bad guy. I had the Witch King. You had...
I had Azog.
Azog, yes.
Azog the Defiler. But this week we're talking about protagonists
from the Lord of the Rings series.
From the Lord of the Rings series. And I went with Gimli this time.
Very awesome choice.
Gimli. Because
Gimli.
He's so awesome. He's just been through so much. He's lost so much, but he just, he keeps on chugging.
And the actor that plays him is incredible.
Jonathan Rhys Davis?
Yes.
Excuse me.
And he was Salah and Indiana Jones, series, classic. He's been in so many things, but that's what he's known for.
And I just really, I don't know. I like the dwarves in that universe.
Me too.
For some reason, I really connect with them, I guess.
Yes, dwarves and the elves, most of the elves, but
and just
pretty much all the dwarves.
And just the fact that after he saw Balin dead in the Fellowship, and he was just ready to go. He was ready to go. He's ready to kill them all and take them all with him.
From then on, man, and that's the way those guys are. So, and that's why, dude, that's a really good pick.
Yeah. Who do you got?
Well, I had to go. I mean, it took some pretty deep thought. I actually thought about it at work today. Mm-hmm. But I had to go with my man Gandalf.
Nice.
I didn't want to go with somebody that's so OP, but when you think about it, really, all that happens, and he's kind of out of commission a couple times,
right?
And then comes back, and then he's kind of helping from on far, but he's still there, and then he battles, and So I had to go with him because he's so awesome. He's got a good balance.
Oh yeah, he's a big linchpin throughout the entire series, including the Hobbit trilogy.
And his attitude from the gray to the white, and he's still it's still really him. And then he comes back and he remembers who he is, and his speeches that he gives, and his advice, and
just his position on life.
It's so cool. And he says when
that's a good one.
Pippin, right? Yeah, says that. This is the end, and he's like,
and
the
he's
end?
About,
Yeah, no. It's just, death is just another journey.
Death is just the beginning, like in The Mummy.
Yeah, right? I love those movies, by the way. I hated the new one that came out with Tom Cruise.
No thanks.
It was horrible. I turned it off in like 45 minutes. Like, this is garbage.
But yeah, that's about all I got for movies. What...
I think pretty much for movies. I did want to mention one more thing with the movies. It's more of just information. It doesn't really matter. But Jason Momoa and Taron Egerton both want to play Wolverine in the X-Men MCU universe.
I can't see Jason Momoa playing Wolverine.
I don't want him to. He's Aquaman. I don't like
He's too. First of all, he's too tall.
Right.
Because in the comics, he's super short.
Which is why Taron Egerton wants to do it, because he's super short.
Yeah.
Which is, that's okay, whatever. I don't think either one of them was going to be it, in my opinion. But I don't want him to be, because he's already Aquaman.
Even though Hugh Jackman was like 6'2", but that's forgivable because it's Hugh Jackman.
Right.
So.
And I was already kind of on the fence with, what's his name, the guy that played Cable and Thanos.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. From the Goonies.
Josh Brolin.
Right.
He's one of
I was already not happy with those two things. At the same time, it was like, okay, technically the same universe, whatever.
And he did amazing.
But he did amazing.
He did awesome.
Not that I'm saying that Jason Momoa couldn't be, but
he could be Wolverine. Don't get me wrong, and I would still, I'd still like it. But I can't see his face with the chops and the Wolverine claws and all that stuff.
If you're gonna do Wolverine and it's not Hugh Jackman, I think it's got to be complete faithful to the comics and animated series.
Yeah, but you got to find some nobody that's super short and super stout, something like that.
I don't even want to see him in person because like Wolverine, he never was out of costume.
That's true. Yeah, ever.
He didn't want to show his face for one thing.
I mean, he is. There's some bar scenes and stuff like that in the comics.
I mean, he's got a jacket when he rides his bike, and
but underneath of it, he's pretty much in full uniform.
Right. It's just not necessary. If you're gonna have it, you could pull that look off fairly easy. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much.
That's all we got for movies. Moving on to little thing about sports. Blues are still champs, and Cardinals are struggling.
They've been doing better of late. They had a big walk-off homer last night.
Yeah,
won the series against Miami, but that's the thing.
Against Miami.
Ooh, I know. Everyone's been saying that. And
Look
I have
out!
to agree.
Look out, everybody!
And what they're throwing some rookie or some pitcher tonight that was in our system that we traded to get Marcell Ozuna. And apparently this kid is tearing it up in minor leagues. Like just destroying people.
While Ozuna's just destroying his shoulder.
Yeah. So when he pitches tonight, and pretty much everyone's like, yeah, the Cardinals will probably lose because they don't do very good when it comes to people they've never seen before.
Yep. We don't.
Even though they know who he is, but they've never,
we just gotta, we just gotta step it up. But like I said, I'm waiting for the All-Star break, and then after that, maybe we'll see. And then I'll start crying. The sky is falling.
I mean, the sports thing I had written here was pretty much simple. Is Cardinals need a starting pitcher?
Yeah.
Quit playing around.
That's what I got. Yep.
Stop playing. You got a bazillion outfielders. People need outfielders. They have pitchers that don't want to be there, or they don't want anymore.
And you've got tradable players that could go for a good price.
Yes.
You've got Ozuna. You could trade him for a really, really good price. I mean, sure, we'll lose a little bit of a power,
right?
But we don't need all that power. It's either all or nothing with these guys. It's the long ball or no ball.
Yep. Swinging for the fences every time. Every time. And they were saying it on 101 today. Mm-hmm. Everything that's going on with Cardinals is between the ears, man.
Yeah,
it's in their head.
Yeah, it's in their head.
They have the talent. They know what to do.
And Mike
they know how to play.
Schilt, God love him. I love Mike Schilt to death, but he's got to step up a little bit more. Be a little bit more of a get their minds right kind of guy.
Man, Cardinals love to be buddies,
coming back around, and I just wish that wasn't happening. I guess it just didn't happen last year because he didn't know the guys that well.
Right.
And now that he's gotten to play a season with them, or at least half a season.
Right.
And he's gotten to know them and gotten to know their families and all that stuff, I guess the favoritism's starting to come back in again.
Yep.
So.
Well, when you got giant contracts like Dexter Fowler and those kind of things, it hurts you and you don't know what to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're in a little bit of a spot.
Well, on positive news, the Blues are still the champs.
Blues are still the champs.
We're still the champs. We're going to be the champs for quite some time. Mm-hmm. The NHL Awards was last night.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch. I did record it on my DVR. So.
Ryan O'Reilly won the Selke.
Good.
It's very good, which is the best defensive forward in the league, and a credit to what he does off and on the ice.
Right.
Bennington was up for Rookie of the Year. He didn't get it, which was obvious, kind of, because he didn't play a full season. Whatever.
Right,
He's a Cup. He don't care.
Yep, he don't care. He's the winningest rookie goalie in postseason, so
right.
he don't care.
He didn't get the Jack Adams. Barry Trotz did because, Berube didn't play a full season. He wasn't there the whole time.
And
understandable.
He ended the season as an interim head coach instead of just the head coach, which he is.
Right. Well, Barry Trotz won because he won the Cup last year with Washington. Mm-hmm. Then he goes on a crap team with the Islanders and takes them to the playoffs.
Yep.
That's understandable for that.
Yep.
The only one I was mad about was Doug Armstrong did not get.
He didn't get the GM?
No, it was Don Sweeney of Boston.
What?
Yeah.
For what? For throwing a water bottle?
Yeah, apparently.
For what?
So that was Cam Neely.
Did he come from the basement all the way to the top?
Cam Neely threw the water bottle. Don Sweeney's
whoever.
Yeah, right.
Whoever.
Right. Don Sweeney's an ex-Boston player, and he's on there now. But yeah, I was a little disappointed in that. It's like, oh, they signed Charlie Coyle and whatever, and they made a couple. It's like, we got Ryan O'Reilly and Tyler Bozak, and we brought in Jordan Bennington, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
So,
whatever. But we got the Cubs. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
And when it comes to numbers, they released the numbers. I know everyone was kind of like, and we even said it, there was like 1.5 million or 500,000 people. The official number was there was 400,000 people at the parade.
Yeah.
And when the Rams won in 99-2000, they had 100,000 people at that parade.
Yeah, it was a huge deal.
When the Cardinals won in 2011, they only had 250,000 people at their parade. But the city tripled the numbers. There was 1.5 million people in the city because there was people at the bars.
Right.
All the restaurants were full.
Yeah.
All the other places were full. Things of that nature. So there wasn't just the people on the parade.
On the parade grounds.
There were some people that had negative things to say about the parade, and when it came to that was because they didn't get to see anything.
Yeah, because they were all the way in the back.
They were all the way in the back. So, and even people that showed up early, and then they were like, oh, this is going to be a good position. And they were like, the players are getting out of the trucks. And I was like, well, what, did you just want to stand there and watch the truck go by? Or do you want to get down and greet the people?
Greet some people.
They're excited with champs.
Kiss some babies, sign some autographs, stuff like that.
But I mean, the biggest celebration ever. It's just, it's the biggest win, the biggest trophy. It still feels good. It still feels unreal to me.
It's the biggest win in St. Louis history because we've never done it before.
Right. I can't wait till we raise the banner and they get the rings and it's going to be awesome.
A couple of months.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Months.
And that's just a crazy thing because, like, the draft's coming, the awards were last night.
Yeah.
We've never played.
Yeah, we've never played all the way up till the end.
We played so many games. It's like, oh, yeah, the off-season is right here now. Guess what?
Guess what? Now it's the off-season, and now you're playing again.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, okay.
Okay.
Guess it's...
I honestly don't expect these guys to be hungover. When it comes to season.
No. I expect them to be hungry.
I do too.
That's what I expect them to be.
I really do. I expect
hungry for another one.
Better.
At least another sweet playoff run. Yeah.
Why not? But the pressure's off. That's the beauty.
Yeah.
The pressure is off.
Yep, that dam is
Play
broken.
And have fun and
gone.
win,
You got local band, right?
We do. Tomorrow at Otis Campbell's, Washington, Missouri, Dead Roads will be performing at 9 p.m. So be there or be square.
Yep.
Seriously. It's going to be a great show. There is some, I believe, some other bands going. And of course, you got to cross the street at the landing, get some good food, and there'll be good drinks at Otis Campbell's. Got some great guys. They're going to play some original songs. They're going to play some covers. These guys are great. They're in the family. Trust me, you do not want to miss the show. If you're thinking about doing something tomorrow night, still celebrating the Blues, want to watch the Cardinals game, whatever, head on down to Otis Campbell's tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Yep. That's Dead Rose, 9 p.m. Otis Campbell's. Check them out. They're great.
That's right. The only other thing I wanted to say when it came to local, this is just for anyone that's listening when it comes to local business. And we would like to eventually be on location. So we've been doing a lot of shout-outs lately to local businesses. Been having a little trouble getting feedback from some people, but that's understandable. A business is a business.
Right.
Most people aren't really too worried about Facebook. But we are trying to branch out a little bit. So if you can think of or know and spread the word, and if you're listening and you have a business and you would like us to do a little promoting for you, what we'll do is we'll just set up and maybe a little tent inside, whatever you want to do, and we'll broadcast the show from there, and we will not do it live. So if there's any editing that you want done or how you want it done, we can go about it that way.
Yeah.
But this is just basically the start of everybody knows we want to get on video.
Yep.
We want to do interviews. This is just another step in that process, and we kind of just want to get it out there. We would like to show up somewhere and help out the community because that is what we all about here on the I Don't Mo Show. And Charlie, if that's all you got, I think that's good for this express episode.
Yeah, I believe that's all I got.
Well, if that's all we got, guys, this has been the I Don't Mo Show, episode 15. I am Nathan J.
And I'm Charlie P.
Peace.
Later.